Virginia to Ohio to Pennsylvania to Ohio to Virginia. Coming up on the Trucker's Log. Hey everybody, how you doing? Jimmy here with the Trucker's Log. It is Friday, July 20th, and we are in Ohio. I'm not sure how to say the name of this town. I think it's Piqua. P-I-Q-U-A. Piqua, I guess. Piqua. Anyway, we are at the Evenflo company. Any of you that's ever had babies knows exactly who Evenflo is. And I'm not sure what I'm getting, but my entire load, 53-foot trailer full, is only going to weigh 2,000 pounds. So I don't know what it is, but we'll find out. Getting loaded now. I got here about 10:30, had an 11 o'clock appointment, and some of the drivers were saying it's taking 2 to 3 hours to get loaded. Kind of hope that's not the case, but if it is, what do you do? As I said there at the beginning, I actually started in Virginia, came to Ohio, going to Pennsylvania, back to Ohio, and then back to Virginia. So kind of just making a big loop. And what I wanted to talk about today was like planning your trips. And I guess this is more towards the owner-operator guys, or at least people who book their own loads, which is going to be owner-operator guys for the most part. When I book my loads, our weeks start on a Tuesday and end on the following Monday. So when I start out my week on a Tuesday, for the first 3-4 days or so, I don't really care where the loads take me. To a point, of course. I mean, I don't want to go to New York City. I'll never go to New York City. I'll never, ever will I go to New York City. Just my choice, man, but I don't really worry a lot about where they go the first few days. The last couple days though, I try to start deciding, okay, where do I want to end up? Am I going to take any time off after this run? Am I going to take a day off? Am I going to take a couple days off, a weekend, whatever? And of course then when I'm looking on the load board and I'm trying to pick loads, I'm of course looking for loads that go to that area. Now, that adds just yet another element to your search, because I've already got certain search criteria that I use, and some of it I'm flexible on and some of it I'm not. Like going to New York City, not flexible on that at all. Chicago, won't do it. Miami, not going to happen. But some things I am flexible on, like weight. I try to stay under 30,000 pounds, just because most of the time I can. Easier on the truck, better fuel mileage, better overall. Truck handles better when it's not so heavy. So I look for loads under 30,000. I actually look for loads under 20,000. And like I said, this load here is only going to weigh 2,000 pounds fully loaded. Now that is rare. That's the extreme end of that. That doesn't happen very often. Unless you're hauling pillows, which I've done that too. But so like I said, certain criteria I'm flexible on. The pay per mile, I have a figure that I will not go below. However, let's just say that figure's $1.30 a mile. And let's say a load that I'm looking at only pays $1.10 or $1.05. And you're thinking, man, just wish that load would pay a little bit better. Let's say the load after that pays $2. Well, if you average those two loads together, you're in there $2.55, something like that. $1.55 or something like that for the two loads together. So you can get away with that sometimes if you're willing to go for the average number, which in this case $1.50, $1.55. If you're willing to drive for that, then you can do the other load knowing that you're going to make it up on the following load. So my point for all this, where I'm going with all this, is that kind of thinking will help you get to where you're going. So if you get on the load board and you don't actually see a load going to where you are going or where you want to be, meeting the criteria, maybe you can fudge it a little bit by, by averaging out a couple loads and, doing it that way. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. It's just another tool you can put in your arsenal, to try to get you where you're going. I know that, let's just pick a town, say Dallas. For whatever reason, you've lost your mind and you want to go to Dallas. But you can't find a load going to Dallas, so you're going to have to work your way there. So maybe you get a load going to Fayetteville, Tennessee, and then you get a load going to West Memphis, Arkansas, and then you can find a load going to Dallas. So you're looking at all three of those loads, and maybe one of them doesn't pay so well. Well, if the other two average out and you throw all three of those together and they all average out a figure you're willing to work with, then Bob's your uncle. So just that's something to look for. I don't know, just something to help you out with maybe. I'm sure most of you who are doing this have already figured this all out, but it's the average that you look for. And then I even go at the end, like in this particular week, I had my whole week planned out all the way from Tuesday, the beginning of our pay period, all the way to Monday. And what I did then is I took all of those mileage pays, added them all up, came up with an average for the entire trip, and it's above where I want to be. So as long as it's above where I want to be, I know I'm making money. I know I can pay my bills. I know, I can buy my fuel, blah, blah, blah. If you add up all those figures and you're right at or below, then you're going to have to switch something up, or, maybe, I don't know. You're going to have to do something different. But I try to always, I don't try to, I do. I stay above my minimum pay per mile. So the weight thing, here's my rule on the weight thing. If I'm going to go over my maximum of 30,000 pounds, then that introduces a couple more pieces of criteria that have to be met. One is the distance. I don't mind doing heavier loads if it's under a certain mile, certain distance. Say, for example, maybe I pick up a load in Winchester, Virginia, and it's going to York, Pennsylvania, and it weighs 44,000 pounds. Normally a 44,000 pound load, I wouldn't even give it the time of day, but I'm thinking, hey, that's just a couple hours up there. It's pretty much a straight shot there. In those kind of cases, I may make the exception and do it, especially if I'm trying to get to where that load is going. And it goes a little further than trying to just get to where you want to take your time off. You might have a load, let's say you have a load picking up in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and it's going somewhere and it's paying really good money and it's light and you want this load really bad, but you couldn't necessarily get to Carlisle. Well, this way, you can take this heavier load for just a couple hours, and the payoff, the reward is you'll be able to get that good load that you want on the end without deadheading up there to get it. So you're making money, you're not deadheading. Yeah, you're pulling some heavy weight, but you're not pulling it for long. So that's another tip that I go by. I've got all this stuff written down somewhere, but I've been doing it enough now to where I don't need to, I've got all my rules and regulations, my guidelines and my search criteria. I got it all in my head now. But I'm telling you, man, the first couple months, and this is for you new guys, you'll drive yourself crazy, literally, no pun intended. Trying to figure all this out and just go, you go bat nuts, but just think wisely, try to figure it out. Use averages, because it's all about the average. You might find a load going for $3 a mile and your next two loads are like for $1 a mile. Average those together. Are they still above your minimum that you want to be? If they are, book them, Dano. Take them, because you're still making your money. As long as you're making your minimum, that's what the name of the game is. So I've adopted that policy. I've been working it now for several months, probably the last 4 or 5 months, and it's worked extremely well for me. I've never come out in the hole for a week. Usually I get to where I'm going, within reason. Sometimes, the end of the week and you want to go home or you want to go somewhere particular, you might just have to deadhead there. If you do, in my particular case, I can have them take the empty trailer off of me and I can bobtail. And then I can go off-duty driving and I can bobtail, pretty much wherever I need to get within reason. So just some tips for some of you owner-ops out there. This, of course, is open to all kinds of dialogue. So if you guys have any information you'd like to share, or if you got any pointers or tips that have to do with this topic, share them down below. Let me hear what you got to say. And please like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And hit that little bell icon. That will give you a notification whenever I upload a new video. And give me the old thumbs up if you would, please. I appreciate that. And if you guys need to reach me for anything, I'm gonna get an email address. I may have already said this once, but I'm gonna get an email address just for this account, just for the Trucker's Log. I did not do the Twitter thing. I know I said several videos ago I was going to do a Twitter feed just for this. Maybe later. Right now, it just doesn't make much sense. So, that might be something I'll look into later. Might even look into a Facebook page later. But a lot of things would have to transpire for me to want to get into all that. So, anyway, hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Weekend's here. Yeah. So have a good weekend. Stay safe. Watch out for the crazies. They're everywhere. And we'll see you guys next time.